What's up guys, Kawasaki here, and today I'm going to be bringing you my thoughts, predictions, and a little bit of a breakdown on the Stardom Dream Queendom 2022 pay-per-view. This is the final show for Stardom for 2022. It's a jam-packed card, and I'm going to be giving a little bit of a breakdown, at least to the best of my ability. So if you like what you're watching, click on the like button. If you want to see more, maybe I'll do a watch along for this the night of. Click on the subscribe and turn the bell notifications on for notifications and telling you when I stream. If you want to watch this live, I will put a link to the Discord down below. It's where we do all of our watch alongs and whatnot. Feel free to join in and join on the fun. And without further ado, let's get things started. So to break down the matches, we're going to start off with the opening match. We have Sayaka Unagi and the returning Mina Shirakawa versus Mai Sakurai and Tekla. Second match, we got a Triangle Derby 6-woman tag match between Hanan, Mayu Iwatani, Momokogo versus Hazuki, Sayaida, and Koguma. Next up, we have a number one contenders match for the Goddess of Stardom Championship between God's Eyes Ami Sourei and Mirai, taking on Maika and Himeka, taking on Natsuko Tora and Ruaka. Then in a special singles match, we have Kairi taking on Utami Hayashi Shida. Next, we have the start of the title matches. So we have Azumi taking on Hikari Shimizu. For the Artist of Stardom Championship, we have Saki Kashima, Momo Watanabe, and Starlight Kid taking on Kirumi Hiragi, Risa Sera, and Suzu Suzuki. In your Goddess of Stardom Championship match, we have Tam Nakano and Natsupoi taking on Nanae Takahashi and Yu. In your Wonder of Stardom Championship match, we have Haruka Umasaki taking on Saya Kamitani. And last but not least, for the World of Stardom Championship, we have Siri taking on Julia. So going to the opening match, Sayaka Unagi looks like she's returned to Stardom after a brief excursion around Japan, various promotions. Mina Shirakawa was coming back after a injury that she sustained at Stardom Gold Rush, I believe, when she took on Saya for the Wonder Stardom Championship. Both of them are making their returns. I know Unagi technically made a return back at Showcase. I'm not 100% sure if she's been booked from then until now. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. But I know for sure Mina has definitely making her return after injury. And against Mai Sakurai and Tekla. I know Cosmic Angels do have kind of a grudge against Donald Demando. And in this match particularly, Mai Sakurai, she's actually had a pretty good match against Tekla for the SWA belt earlier this year. I highly recommend watching that match if you ever get the chance. If you want to swing the momentum, I would probably say Mina and Unagi pick up the win on this one. Now, in the Triangle Derby match, I'm going to be 100% honest, I haven't really kept up with Stardom recently. I'm sorry, I'm probably getting all my info wrong. But looks like a 6-woman tag match. We have FWC on one side with Sayaida. And then we have Peach Rock, Mayu Momo with Hanan. I know Mayu's luck with tag teams in the long term haven't been too great, such as teaming up with Io Shirai, Tam Nakano, Starlight Kid, Saki Kashima, Gokigen Death, Fukigen Death, Death Yama-san, all of them. And it looks like Mayu was frustrated at one of the last shows when she teamed up with Momokogo to take on Saki Kashima and Fukigen Death, so that might be a little bit of something brewing within Mayu. I know Mayu came off of a loss against Kairi for the IWGP Women's Championship. So I would honestly say in this case, I would go Team Hazuki, Koguma, and Saya, and you can start building up a storyline with Momo or something, either Momo betraying Mayu and going to another group, or even just Mayu trying to put Momo in her place. Now for the Goddess of Stardom number one contenders, ever since Natsuko Tora returned, she's actually had quite a run so far in the tag team division. She I think she did pretty well in the Goddess of Stardom Tag League. I honestly kind of forgot that was going on. Um, so I guess running off of that, could have Natsuko Tora and Ruaka win by any means necessary. Me personally, I'd want Maika Himika to pick up the win and challenge for the belts, but I have a feeling they're trying to build up Natsuko and Ruaka as like a team to take on the Goddess of Stardom champions, which will be determined later on in the night. Yeah, Natsuko Tora, Ruaka pick up the win on this one. Wait, is that the one? Okay. Now, this match, this one has actually, the story kind of actually started when Kairi and I think Natsupoi or Tom or Mayu, I forget who it was Kairi teamed up with, but she took on Miyu Amasaki and Utami in a match, and Kairi just dog walked over Miyu, and this is sort of culminated up until now. Utami calling out Kairi. Also, the fact Kairi is your current IWGP Women's Champion, first ever, defeating Mayu at the historic crossover Stardom New Japan show. And this is essentially a battle of like the past versus the present. Kairi being the veteran in this case, and Utami being the quote unquote newcomer. When I say newcomer, I mean if you were to compare their experience within Stardom and just wrestling in general, Kairi is a seasoned vet. This one might be a little tough to call. I mean, Utami's been on. She's had quite the run the past few years, especially last year, where she held the belt up until essentially this time of the year when she lost it to Siri. I don't think they've ever competed in a one-on-one contest, so I'm either gonna have to say very close but goes to a draw, or Kairi would go over simply because she is your new IWGP Women's Champion. She has to go into Wrestle Kingdom the week after to defend that belt against Tom Nakano. I believe that's the second night, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm going to say, time limit draw, Akari picks up the win. Now, coming to your title matches, Azumi, Hikari Shimizu. I only know very little about Hikari, besides the fact she's a part of Colors. I knew she was in Mexico in the CMLL Grand Prix, where it was her, Mei Suruga, Taya Honma, and I feel like there was one more. They competed in there, and I believe she stated she wants to take the high-speed belt and go defend it over in Mexico, where she just was. This would be a great match. It would be kind of cool if we had a new champion, but in my humble and honest opinion, I am not too sure if they would actually have any Stardom belt that's not the SWA be defended outside of Stardom. So I'm going to just say Azumi retains the belt. Good match nonetheless. And again, in the Artist of Stardom Championship, we have Orotai and Prominence. Back over at Showcase 3, Suzu, Risa, and Kurumi Hiragi actually challenged Starlight, Saki, and Momo for the artist belts. And it came to a recent update, Rossi allowed this to be a hardcore match. So it may look like Providence is in the favor to win this. But again, I still say I don't know if Rossi would let the Stardom belts be defended outside the company / promotion. So I'm going to say Orotai picks up the win. It'd be very good. This one is also, again, very, very good match. This one I wouldn't sleep on. And now in your Goddess of Stardom Championship, we have Meltier, Tom Nakano Natsupoi versus Team 7. Oh, was it Team 7 Up? Part of Neo Stardom Army. Nani Takahashi and Yu. Nani Takahashi and Yu recently won the Goddess of Stardom Tag League, where did they take on Aphrodite in the finals? I might be wrong. Probably wrong. But regardless, they won the Goddess of Stardom Tag League. They're challenging Tom and Natsupoi in the not the finals, for the belts. Nani Takahashi and Yu definitely bringing in the kind of the old ways of how Stardom was. Pretty much passion on the line. You put in your 110, 120%, and you will go until you cannot go anymore. Tom Nakano and Natsupoi, they had quite the run with the belts so far. So this one will be a little interesting. I mean, you and Nanae will definitely outpower Tom and Poi, but with the power of friendship and teamwork, I think Meltier will prevail and they will retain the belts. And co-main event, Wonder Stardom Championship, Saya, Haruka. I've heard recently Haruka Misaki has been killing it in other promotions, because again, Diana, I believe, lets her freelance all around different companies and promotions and whatnot. Again, she showed up at Stardom for New Blood, and coming off a pretty hot streak right now, Haruka has challenged Saya for the belt. Saya has defended this belt quite a lot this year. Again, probably due to the fact that I'm not sure if Stardom will let other people hold the belt and defend it around Japan. I could be wrong. I might be right. I feel Saya's definitely going to retain this. And I know she really wants to run back Saya Kairi again, because their first match ended off in a time limit draw. And also, Mina does want to have her rematch against Saya for the belt. And I know tragic things happened in that match, but what's in the past is in the past. Move on from that. Look towards the future. Mina definitely wants her hands at that, and Kairi definitely wants to finish what she started. And your main event, Julia and Syuri. Essentially, this is a rematch, but back in March, no, I believe back at the beginning of the year, was Mayu versus Julia, and it was supposed to be Tom Nakano, but something happened. Tom Nakano got pulled from the match, so it was Mayu versus Julia, and the winner was, they got to decide when they wanted to face Syuri. It went to a time limit draw. Mayu decided to take on Syuri the second night. Julia took Syuri on the first night. Julia came up a little short to Syuri, and Syuri beat Mayu the second night. And this pretty much culminated at the fact that Syuri left Donald Mondo to form God's Eye. I guess it was just clashing, butting heads of leadership of Donald Mondo. Syuri decided to form her own group, and that's going pretty successful so far. Julia also winning the 5-star Grand Prix this year, beating Tom Nakano in the finals. So Syuri has been able to... Oh no, Julia has been given the chance to go at it at the belt yet again. My humble, honest opinion, I would really like to see Julia win this, as it would be like, kind of be like a breath of fresh air when it comes to the World of Stardom title scene. I know Syuri has had great matches this year, and some of it could have been, and there was maybe like a couple, like a one-off, like a couple odd ones, just because they had stuff thrown in there. Like in my personal example, Maika Syuri was kind of thrown in there. Utami and Syuri was thrown in there. Like, you can't top their trilogy that they had last year, and they just threw in Utami Syuri at Gold Rush. It was Gold Rush. And Julia has been just going at it nonstop ever since coming back from injury last year. So I would want Julia to pick up the win on this one, win the World of Stardom belt. We'd have a whole different landscape going into next year if Julia were to win the belt. But that is my predictions, thoughts, and a little bit of a breakdown. Again, my breakdown isn't as good as some others just because I haven't really watched recently. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. I'm really interested on how, or what you think everything will turn out in the end. So, without further ado, thank you all for watching. I will catch you all in the next live stream and or video. Peace.